The Resort Casino.
Are you ready for some football?
Here we go, Monday, September 30th, 2024. Are you ready for Trojans Live on this Monday night as we celebrate the huge win Saturday at the Coliseum against those stinking Badgers?
Miller Moss with a rushing touchdown, USC. How do you do?
It was a little bumpy in the first half, but in the second half, not a doubt.
Block. Ooh, yeah. Intercepted by Cobb. 50. He's at the 40. 30. Down the sideline. 20. 10. 5. Touchdown! Mason Cobb. Pick six. Game, set, and match.
You never could doubt Lincoln Riley and the USC Trojans. Let's go. We recap everything from Saturday and get you ready for USC Minnesota coming up on Saturday. Let's do it, Trojans Live, your Monday night right now. The exclusive USC Trojans Coaches Show. Behind-the-scenes insights and breaking news from the student athletes who play for the Cardinal and Gold. Trojans Live is presented by Monster Energy. Monster Energy, unleash the beast. Unleash the beast. It's time for your host. Live from Los Angeles, here are Jordan Moore, Sean Cody, and Cody Kessler.
Hello and welcome to Trojans Live on a Monday night, presented by Monster Energy on ESPN LA 710 and across the USC Trojans Media Network. I am Jordan Moore alongside the All-American Sean Cody, our quarterback Cody Kessler, and the head coach Lincoln Riley. Fresh off another win, Monster Energy, the official energy drink partner of USC, tear into a can of the meanest energy drink on the planet, Monster Energy. Unleash the Beast. And our head coach interview is presented by I Trust Capital, the official crypto platform of the USC Trojans. Coach, thank you so much for joining us. A very impressive 28-zip in the second half on Saturday night to put everyone at ease. You know, we talk so much about halftime and halftime adjustments. You've been a great second-half team so far this season. How much of it actually is scheme that's changing at halftime, and how much of it is just halftime allows guys to sort of emotionally reset and, you know, sort of change their mindset going into the second half?
Yeah, it's a mixture of both. You know, each game, each scenario is a little bit different. There's some games where you go in and, you know, there's not that many adjustments to make. It's, you know, here's what we're doing, and here's the things we need to do better, and here we go. And I think, you know, probably last week emotionally it was good for us a little bit to kind of get in there and just reset. We did not play a good first half, and you know, against a quality football team, like you're going to be down at half when you play the way we did. It just is what it is. And so, but you got to emotionally get past that and get on to what's going to help you go play well in the second half. And so, you know, our guys did that. They had a good mindset coming out. Like I said after the game, there was frustration but not panic. And there were a few things schematically on both sides that we wanted to be able to get to when we got everybody there in the locker room, and we were able to do that, and the guys handled it well.
Coach, 31 points as an offense, and offensively speaking, you know, at 31 points, that's a good day at the office. But I know you want so much more. What are the points that you make with your team to try to get them from a good offense to maybe that next level of an elite offense? Yeah,
you know, I mean, you got to take advantage of the drives you get. I mean, we've played several pretty top defenses already, and we got several more coming. And so, you know, when you're playing good opponents, you've got to make the most of the good drives that you had. And, you know, two of the turnovers the other day were in plus territory, you know, and we had the ball moving. And so that was, you know, that to me was probably the biggest negative on the day. We did capitalize on a lot of the opportunities, obviously, in the second half. We made some really good competitive plays. We weren't great on first down. We got to continue to get better at that. We got to continue to put ourselves in more advantageous spots. But we really countered that by we were awesome on third and fourth down. You know, and that's obviously we were awesome defensively there as well, and that was probably the biggest separation point in the entire game. And so, yeah, we're growing. We're kind of learning our skill sets. We're getting better as we go along. But we definitely. Again, as you play good opponents, you got to take advantage of when you put yourself in position to score. You got to get it done, and we've missed a few too many opportunities here through the first four games.
Coach, we just mentioned it, but a big comeback win led by a dominant second half. What does this type of win tell you about the culture and the leadership on your football team?
Yeah, I think it's improving. It's I think pretty strong with this group right now. I think I do think they believe in one another quite a bit. I think they believe that all sides of the ball have the capability to do what they need to do. I pointed out today to our team, I mean, the group of specialists we have right now, has to be one of the best groups in the country. We've shown the capability both defensively and offensively to play some really good ball. So this team has the capability and firepower to go on big runs like we did, or if we are behind, we do have the ability to stop people. We have the ability to score. We have the ability to make plays on special teams. So like we can I think we could thrive in a lot of different scenarios right now, and I think we're like developing a little bit of a confidence as a team that way, that kind of no matter how it plays out, we can overcome it.
You're listening to Lincoln Riley on Trojans Live, and I heard you say, and I'm paraphrasing here, basically, show me a tough team, and I'll show you a tough quarterback. Show me a soft team, and I'll show you a soft quarterback. You clearly have a tough quarterback. When did you know that? Are you learning that as we're learning that? Was there a time as you've watched him, sit behind Caleb for a couple of years where you said, man, there's something about this kid? Because he's not necessarily the biggest or the strongest out there, but we're seeing it that his poise under fire is very impressive.
Yeah, no, he is. I think he proved that, definitely some in the bowl game. He took a couple pretty big licks in the bowl game and hung in there. I mean, I thought he was a, pretty mentally tough kid, and seeing how, again, stayed here, persevered through all. I know we've talked about that at length, but seeing it on the field when you're taking real shots is a different thing, and our guys, I've seen other guys that are hard workers, our team means a lot to them, all that, but then that big hit comes and maybe they flinch a little bit, or they don't want that. And Miller's been a tough player for us. He's takes some shots knowing that's the right thing to do to make the throw, like the one to Deuce, there at the end was a great example. I mean, you're getting max blitz. Like if you're going to hang on to that ball, like you are going to get hit. It doesn't matter how good an O-line protects you. They're bringing 6 people and we have 5 people to block. You do the math, like you're going to get hit. And some guys, have the courage to stand in there and make that throw for their team, and he's made a lot of plays like that for us.
We've seen some different receivers in different games. I can think of Kyra Hudson, the first game, making some big plays. Zachariah against Michigan had some nice plays, and then Deuce, obviously. But I thought really the emphasis was on Jacoby Lane, starting the game off, first drive, getting him the ball, pumping. What did you learn from number 8 in that game, where he had a big game, 10 targets, over 100 yards? What did you learn about number 8?
Yeah, I was proud of just some of the tough plays he made. He caught the one ball going across the middle and took a pretty big shot, hung on to the ball. He made some real timely plays, some big-time plays on third downs. So, it was good to see certainly more consistent performance from him, and the ball found him a little bit early, and then I think he was able to gain some momentum from that, which was good to see. So
it's like hitting your free throws early, right? You hit your free throws early, it's going to lead to a big game.
It's exactly right.
I never hit my free throws.
Where's the touch? Come on.
Big man off the back.
There we go. You called bank?
No.
No. Okay, all right, just checking. No, you're right. I mean, it's like you get off that good start, you get some confidence going, and then, he was able to sustain it through a large part of the game. So it's for a lot of the guys, and not just in the receiver room, but young players all over the team, it's all right, guys that are capable of making great plays versus guys that are trying to grow into becoming great players. And a lot of time people confuse the two. Yeah. Like there are a lot of people capable of making highlight reel plays, and that's good. I mean, we're not going to turn them down, but at the same time, like great players are the ones whose bad plays aren't that bad. And like that's what, guys like Jacoby are trying to build into, and I thought that was a really good step for him.
Coach, we saw Walker Lyons get some opportunities on Saturday, made some big-time plays, especially on third down. What did you see from the freshman, and did he earn himself some more of those opportunities going forward with Lake McCree out?
Yeah, he did a good job. Both he and Cade did. That's not an easy position to play in our offense. We asked him to do a lot. It was a really physical game. Those guys both have pretty limited experience, so for them to step in there and take all those snaps, they did a good job. They both had a couple catches. Walker, as you said, had a real timely third down catch. It was really important. It was a tough catch too. Those guys they're gaining steam. Like they're learning so much. They're both going to be really good players. We just need them to be really good players right now with the situation. But I think it was a confidence builder for both Cade and Walker, and I think just us as a staff to see those guys go in there make some plays, really hang in there, compete hard, and did some things that we needed to do in terms of moving the ball.
Kamari Ramsey seems like a guy that you've sort of put forward really from the moment he's gotten here, an instant leader for this team. You needed some of those moments on defense on Saturday. He delivered the fourth down stop. Obviously, I think Lucas was a big part of that play too. And you mentioned you took some shots over the middle, and then he delivered one. What does that do for a room? A tone set for a whole team. When you're going out there making those plays in that third quarter.
Yeah, he's very much been a leader by example from the day he walked in. He's not the most vocal guy in the world, but on the field, he's a really consistent competitor. He just doesn't have very many down days. He doesn't have very many plays that he's not like mentally locked in or focused. He's a very consistent player. And then, you see, his ability to go make some game-changing type plays, and he is that type of player. And so, no, it was important, to physically set the tone. You continue to get some of these questions about the new conference and this physicality or that physicality. It was good to see some of our guys go out there and really set the tone and make some of those plays. I mean, and how many big stops have we had already this year on short yardage, and he's been involved as a lot of our other guys. So it's, those are game-changing plays, the momentum, I mean, just everything behind it. And for us to make the amount we're making right now is a great step.
Second half shutout for the defense paved the way for that comeback on Saturday. Trojans Live is sponsored by Pechanga Resort Casino, proud partner of USC Football. Hey, Trojan fans, celebrate every Trojan win. Hope you did yesterday with a sweet taste of victory. A free donut at Ralph's the day after a win. Download your digital coupon from the Ralph's app to score your free donut at any Los Angeles area Ralph's store. Big Ten schedule continues this week. USC versus Minnesota, 4:30 Pacific time. It'll be 6:30 in the Central Time Zone where we'll be. Big Ten Network is the channel. Trojan Tailgate Show across ESPN Los Angeles and the USC Trojans Media Network. That'll go on at 2:30 p.m. Pacific time. Back to talk about that game with Coach next on Trojans Live.
I used to toss a coin in the waterfalls, in the wishing well. Now I get plenty coin, but I'm self-made. You ain't gotta wish me well. You ain't like me then, but I guess it's past tense, cause you tapped in. You was never who you said. I see the facade when looking at really me like you could tell. My guard up, I ain't taking nails. If it's not in my favor, won't sign a deal. I got the royalty in the mail. I got authority in the field. Take a look in my iris. I be precise with the timing. I never know where my mind went.
By Pechanga Resort Casino.
And this is Trojans Live.
It's a touchdown, USC.
recapping everything from Saturday's huge win at the Coliseum, the Big Ten home opener, and the Trojans took care of those Badgers.
Moss to throw. End zone. Lane. Got it. Touchdown, USC. Just what Jordan Moore ordered earlier. If you're going to throw big to the big man, to Lane, because he can go up there. He didn't even have to jump much. Just tippy-toed and made the catch.
We recap it and get you set for USC Minnesota on Saturday tonight on Trojans Live. Now back to the campus of USC at Heritage Hall, broadcasting in Los Angeles. Here are your hosts, Jordan Moore, Sean Cody, and Cody Kessler.
When you've got good beer and good vibes, it's all bueno. Stone Buena Vesa Salt and Lime Lager is Baja-inspired, imported from San Diego, located near you at find.stonebrewing.com. And Fight on Trojans and Fly On with ONT. Ontario International Airport is a proud sponsor of our USC Trojans. Visit SoCalSoEasy.com to book your journey through ONT today. Back on Trojans Live with the head coach, Lincoln Riley, getting you set for USC versus Minnesota on Saturday. A team we saw in 2010, 2011, so it hasn't been that long, going back to the Twin Cities. Coach, I'm sure you'd love to start fast. I mean, it's great being a second-half team, but I'm sure you'd love to start faster. What do you think is the key to getting out to a good start in this game?
Yeah, well, and on the road, as we know, it's even more important. So yeah, I mean, you continue to play quality team after quality team like we're going to play. We've got to be able to do that. That's the ability we have to develop as a football team, and so that's going to be it'll be very important to be able to get off to a good start, and then be able to maintain and sustain that. And we know this is a good, tough, physical football team that we're getting ready to play. And again, road football against good teams in a good conference, like it's always going to be a challenge. So go up there for a night game. It'll be a fun atmosphere. And we know that they're going to get, we're going to get their best, and we got to make sure that they get ours as well.
Coach, offensive line, had a better game, it seemed like, against Wisconsin in previous weekends. Michigan struggled a little bit. We saw a little bit of rotation at right guard, Elijah Page back at left tackle. What did you think of that group, and how did they take a step forward?
Yeah, we did. We did some really good things there. I thought the guys improved, took a lot of the things that we emphasized throughout the week, and certainly had a much better performance. And I think we'll continue to grow from it. It was a great response, I thought, from the week before. There's certainly still some little things to clean up that we've got to continue to do better, especially being better on first down. But by and large, if we can keep taking those jumps like we did from the previous week to this one, then that group's going to have a chance to play very well for us.
Coach, I talked about it on our preview podcast we do before the game. I'd love to think that you and Miller were sitting there on Thursday after practice watching this, but one of my keys to the game was...
Doubt it, Cody. Hate to be the one to tell you.
Yeah, probably weren't. But one of my keys to the game was Miller Moss had to use his feet this week, right? And if you watched the Wisconsin-Alabama game, you saw Jalen Merlo multiple times pull that football because they were crashing the defensive end. Was that a point of emphasis this week for Miller Moss to be more effective in the run game, or is that something that he started just doing in the game because he was making great reads?
Well, we thought that there was a chance they were going to be pretty aggressive on the edges and that we would get some opportunities. Milroe's a little bit of a different animal and in terms of the way that he can run. But
wait, time out, Coach. Did you see the spin move?
Hey,
double spin move?
The spin was legit.
How many minutes in practice goes towards Miller Moss spin moves?
Not enough. No, Miller did a good job recognizing there were some key plays. Yeah. Every quarterback's built different. I just think for Miller to show the ability to be able to carry the ball some, to have that added threat for defense is going to make us that much tougher to defend. And honestly, we probably could have done it a handful of more times as well. And so, no, it's important, though. He's going to – every quarterback, you're going to get put in that position. Especially when you're playing all these good defenses, and if whether it's pulling the ball on a run or it's a big third down and pass rush gets up the field and you can find that lane and go get a first down, there's going to be those key plays that quarterbacks are going to have to make from time to time to really make things tough on the defense.
Not sure our audience is aware. I'm sure you are, though, but Minnesota's defense statistically is way up there nationally, top 5 in some important categories. What are you seeing from them on film? What do they do so well?
Yeah, they've done everything well so far. I mean, they've played. It's been some unique. They've played some unique opponents. Definitely some different offensive styles. Kind of a hodgepodge of that here in the first several games. But yeah, I mean, when they're ranked, where they're ranked defensively, like I said, they're top 5 in a bunch of categories. Yep. I mean, you're pretty much doing everything good, and they are. People have not been able to run it on them very much at all. Really, only Iowa had much success in the run game. They've been great against the pass. They've been really good on third down. So, yeah, no, it's a tough group. It's a veteran group. You know, they have a lot of starts. These guys have played a lot of ball together, and you see that when you turn on the tape.
Coach, you got a young man on your defense coming up next, and I'm sure he'll have some things to say about the defense. But talk to us about the linebacker group. I think a group that's really taken a step forward this year. Eric Gentry's taken his game to the addition of Issa Mascarenas has been great, and then Mason Cobb. So talk about those guys a little bit and what they brought to the defense and how their level of being developed has really helped them out.
Yeah, I think they've been really important. I mean, obviously they're right there at the heart of what we do defensively. I think these guys have all improved their own games individually. I think these guys, from a mentality standpoint, bring a lot to our defense in terms of not just what we do, but just the way that we play the game. Yep. These guys are playing physical. They're consistent competitors. You know, they've really pushed each other in that room. It's become a really healthy room. Mason certainly, has definitely been one of the catalysts for it. As physical as he's played, he's made a ton of great plays. Obviously, had the huge fumble or pick six return the other day, but he's really improved. I mean, so much from last year, and that's what you need, right? You need all the players to improve individually and then come together as a group and really play with one consistent mentality. And that room has certainly been a smart play.
Is he begging for a little bit of offensive action after that?
Yeah, he may be getting a little cocky after that. So, but no, hey, it was a heck of a return. And my most important thing to me is he had great ball security, which you love.
Coach, I love the way that Dan Lynn calls a game on defense, and the best way that I describe to people is he's fearless in his play calling, very aggressive. But to be able to do that, you have to trust your players on the field, which you can see a lot of that. What have you learned, or what has impressed you the most of your defense coordinator now that you guys have 4 games together?
Yeah, I think he's done a really nice job of blending the skill sets that we have on defense. I think a really nice job of, helping to bring the staff together to get the most out of the talented staff that we have, and he does. He believes in our players. He believes in the guys that we have. He does a good job, I think, getting the most out of those guys. And like you said, you can't call games scared. Like you can't. Yeah. Like as soon as you do, people just start preying on you, and it doesn't matter what side of the ball it is. So, no, he has. He's been aggressive. He's got a lot of belief in our guys. They've prepared them well, and I think our guys walk out there with a lot of confidence, just like he does.
Well, Sean teased it. We've got the touchdown maker himself next. Mason Cobb coming up on Trojans Live. Thank you, Coach. We will talk to you after the Minnesota game next week. Stay tuned for Mason Cobb coming up.
I used to toss a coin in the waterfalls in the wishing well. Now I get plenty coin, but I'm self-made. You ain't gotta wish me well. You ain't like me then, but I guess it's past tense, cause you tapped in. You was never who you said. I see the facade when looking at really me like you could tell. My guard up, I ain't taking nails. If it's not in my favor, won't sign a deal. I got the royalty in the mail. I got authority in the field. Take a look in my iris. I be precise with the timing. I never know where my mind went.
With Trojans Live.
It's a touchdown, USC.
Recapping everything from Saturday's huge win at the Coliseum, the Big Ten home opener.
Lock. Ooh, yeah. Intercepted by Cobb. 50. He's at the 40. 30. Down the sideline. 20. 10. 5. Touchdown! Mason Cobb, pick six. Game, set, and match.
We recap it and get you set for USC Minnesota on Saturday tonight on Trojans Live. Now back to the campus of USC at Heritage Hall, broadcasting in Los Angeles. Here are your hosts, Jordan Moore, Sean Cody, and Cody Kessler.
Our best of the game is brought to you by Old Dominion Freight Line, official freight carrier of USC Athletics, helping the world keep promises. Well, you just heard it, the man with the pick six, Mason Cobb, to close out a fun late afternoon in the Coliseum, joins us now. Jordan Moore, Sean Cody, Cody Kessler. Take us through it, Mason. You threw the bank shot off of someone's face. It comes back to you. What was your POV on that play?
Man, it just happened so fast. Like for 1 second, I'm running to the ball, and then the ball is in my hand, and just man, my thought was just get to the end zone. You seen the switch? I switched balls, switch hands. I know Coach Riley seen the ball security there. But yeah, man, that was the thought, just getting in the end zone. I know he was going to be mad about the celebration, but the guys, man, they wanted it, so I got to give it to him. But yeah, no more of that.
No more taking pictures in the end zone.
No.
Yeah,
You got to ready for the NFL.
We got to get ready for
NFL ready.
Yeah, I can wait for that.
Okay,
there you go.
Months to that, so.
Mason, tell us about you as a player individually. Obviously, last year as a defense, a tough year to be a part of. You talked about improving this offseason, new staff, new linebackers coach. What has been the biggest thing that's helped you this year as the improved player you have been this year?
I feel like it's just everyone bought in. Coach always tries to set the standard. The head coaches of any place, that's important. They want to instill what they want to believe in to the players or coaches. And I just really, truly believe that all the coaches are behind Coach Riley, and it trickles down to the players. And we ride for our coaches. We, like you said, the trust that D-Lin has in us to call, very aggressive. Man, we got the same trust in him to put us in the position. So,
I just talked to Coach Riley about it a second ago, but I truly believe Coach Lynn is one of the best defensive coordinators in the entire country. How has he helped you develop as a player since he stepped foot on campus?
Yeah, man, he's quiet. He's a quiet guy. I know I've said that a couple of times, but when he says something to you, man, it's meaningful.
Yeah.
But just in terms of scheme and there's things that he points out that some position coaches wouldn't even mention, or guys I've played with here for years of haven't even caught that, and he just came in and it was just like easy for him to catch up. So I love the way that he's instilled stuff. Helps us pick it up way easier. Man, he's been one of the best DCs I've ever had. So,
you're listening to Mason Cobb on Trojans Live. You're one of the leaders on this team, but this team's doing something unique this season where captains can change or rotate from week to week. What has that done inside the locker room? In terms of you guys sort of figuring out who the leaders are.
You got a group of guys that can hold all that weight. Why not distribute it? Why not? Some guys are going to be super healthy, super energized 1 week. Some guys might be beat up 1 week, and as a brother, as a teammate, it's your job to hold his weight, to pick up the slack. And I think it's awesome to allow multiple guys to each week to be captain.
We obviously see the big plays out there, 2 interceptions on the year. Those are huge plays, and fans love those. But when I'm watching the film and I see number 13 come downhill on a fourth down play, and you put your shoulder into that offensive lineman, he ends up on his back, and you're standing over him. Those are the plays I love to see. Talk about the increased physicality in your game this year, the pride that your linebacker room. You guys are knocking people on their butts when those guards are pulling. I see the end of those plays. A lot of linebackers standing up, and a lot of offensive linemen down this year.
Yeah, for sure. Just playing healthier. Understand the scheme, being able to pull my trigger, knowing that I can trust the guys around me. That's the answer. It's easy.
Who do you like to model your game after, or who you really watch growing up, or maybe now in the NFL that you'd like to implement a little bit into your own play style?
Ray Lewis. That's the easiest one.
Great one.
Growing up, man, Little League. My dad was always playing videos of him. For motivation. Since as long as I can remember. So, watching him grow up and he was always undersized and had to be a student of the game. And I kind of, took that into myself where, I might not be the fastest on the field, but I can beat you there in my mind. So
yeah, we saw that pick six. Was it always linebacker? Did you play a little running back? Was it always,
high school.
Ray Lewis, but you ever play a little running back in
high
offense?
school, I played a little slot tight end.
Okay.
Some wildcat running back, stuff like that. So, if you want to check it out, I think it's in Huddle somewhere.
We'll go check Huddle.
Waiting for the Ray Lewis celebration, man.
Oh, it's coming. It's coming. I need me a sack first.
All right.
It's a big play on defense. I was trying to celebrate, but that's not an end zone. Not no more. Not no more.
You're listening to Mason Cobb on Trojans Live. I asked Coach this right at the top. You guys have been a great second half team. You played not your best ball in the first half, and then you come out and shut them out in the second half on Saturday. What do you do at halftime in a game like that? Are you focused on getting hype, getting guys up? Are you resetting emotionally and you're calm? You're a very calm presence now. I mean,
Right.
is this your demeanor in a halftime locker room? Or you focused on the pictures and what they're able to show you? What do you take us in that 15, 20 minutes for you?
I mean, for me, the first thing I do is go in and get my tape cut off. But while I'm walking in, everyone's saying something like, "Hey, man, good first half." I'm always trying to keep it positive, no matter what the score is. Going into the half room, everyone gets their little 10 minutes to themselves to do what they need before the coaches come in. Hydrate, refuel, snacks, stuff like that. And we let the coaches talk, and then after that, it's it's up to the players to speak to the coaches and to each other. So,
What's your preferred halftime snack?
oh man, I'm going right for the watermelon. Yeah, they got some good watermelon in the locker room.
What were you,
Nice
Sean?
I mean, orange slices. That was the only thing we had.
Yeah,
They have
fruit.
they have a buffet
we have,
now.
One time we have gushers, muffins, like
I couldn't
bananas, pineapple.
I was a quarterback, though, so I wasn't working as hard as you guys, but I couldn't eat at halftime. Man.
You never ate anything.
No, I would do I think they had the Gatorade little squares, the energy boost, and then after that I would drink like a hydration drink. Couldn't eat at halftime.
Yeah, I'm a light stomach type of guy. Like before
Same.
game, I'll eat way earlier, maybe 4 or 5 hours before, and then pregame at post snack is just.
Any thoughts
little
about?
snacks.
You're giving major yoga instructor vibes. Any future in the yoga industry, man? You could seem like you could teach a nice class and get those moves right.
Yeah, I could teach a little yoga class. I've done a couple of them. But yeah, nah, I don't see myself doing that for sure.
You guys just had a big conference win. Now you got another one going up to Minnesota. What's the message in the locker room this week, getting ready for a tough road opponent?
Yeah, I mean, anytime you play on the road is tough, no matter who you're playing. And then when you're playing USC, it's you're gonna get the best. Every team's circling us, especially us moving to the Big 12. I mean, shoot, if I was another team, I would too. But yeah, I think moving to this conference, man, Minnesota. It's a solid team. They do a lot of things right, and I think that's what we this week is man. We got to do the same thing. Just do all the little things right, and hopefully our talent and all the other extra work we put in during the week.
Let's see the Ray Lewis stats, man. I want to see it. Let's go.
You're the last person that'll ever wear 13 at USC.
Yeah.
You're playing and your number's already retired.
I know, it's crazy, huh?
Well, you're certainly making it proud, just like the other guy did. Mason Cobb coming off a touchdown against Wisconsin and looking for more against Minnesota this week. That game again, it'll kick off 4:30 Pacific time on Big Ten Network. Trojan Tailgate Show across the USC Trojans Media Network starts at 2:30. Don't wait until game time, though, to plan for retirement. Open your free iTrust Capital account today and get your crypto IRA. iTrust Capital is the official cryptocurrency platform of the USC Trojans. And want the inside scoop on this game and all things Trojans? Be sure to sign up for the Three Torches presented by Smart & Final. It's a free newsletter. It'll hit your inbox 3 times a week with game info, player insights, and more. Go to usctrojans.com/3torches and sign up. We're going to pivot when we come back. We have a new rowing coach. Kelsie Chaudoin is next on Trojans Live.
I used to toss a coin in the waterfalls in the wishing well. Now I get plenty coin, but I'm self-made. You ain't gotta wish me well. You ain't like me then, but I guess it's past tense, cause you tapped in. You was never who you said. I see the facade when looking at really me like you could tell. My guard up, I ain't taking nails. If it's not in my favor, won't sign a deal. I got the royalty in the mail. I got authority in the field. Take a look in my iris. I be precise with the timing. I never know where my mind went.
Trojans Live.
This is the
I'm the mic person. Is this me,
ESPN
Dom?
LA USC Trojan Media Network. Presented by Pechanga Resort Casino.
Now back to the campus of USC at Heritage Hall, broadcasting in Los Angeles. Here are your hosts, Jordan Moore, Sean Cody, and Cody Kessler.
Our Women's Spotlight is brought to you by Sprouts Farmers Market, open 7 days a week. Visit your neighborhood Sprouts for good-for-you groceries and great prices on the freshest produce. Jordan Moore, Sean Cody, Cody Kessler. Good to meet Kelsie Chaudoin, her first time on Trojans Live. Relatively new to the Trojan family here as the head coach of USC Women's Rowing. Welcome, Coach. What brought you to USC? Ultimately, what do you see in this program that excites you?
Man, it's like, why would I not have come here, honestly? I think for me, one of the most important things in terms of head coaching opportunities is it's really important for me to be able to recruit from a place of authenticity. And it's like at a place like SC, how can you not sell like the academics, the athletic department, moving to the Big Ten, and on top of that, as a rowing coach, the water that we row on, having the support staff, the administrators that we have here, and then on top of that, for a rowing coach to be in Southern California and be able to row year round, like it checks all of the boxes, and like there's no reason not to be here, I think.
Well, that's my question right there, Coach. You talk about the water. What water are we using? Where is this water at? I know there's an ocean here, but I don't think you're rowing there. Where we
yeah, man, we're out on the Port of LA.
All right.
So we're out there with barges, with tugboats, with cruise ships, but I think that we have some of the best water in Southern California, if not like the whole West Coast. So you can go, this is a rowing coach's dream, to be able to go like 12K straight without spinning and just get good volume in, good training in, and it's a wide waterway. And the great thing is all the mariners out on the waterway, they're really respectful. So we've gotten to know some of them, and we can talk to them ahead of time and be like, okay, we're going to run a workout here, and we know that the water is going to be clear. So it's like, yeah, we're out there with, container ships like hundreds, I don't know if it's hundreds of feet. It feels like hundreds of feet high. And it's great water. So lucky to be out there.
Coach, first year here at USC, what does the foundation and the culture look like that you want to establish here at USC for years to come?
Yeah, I mean, the culture walking into it is, I think that this culture, there's such a Trojan family culture on this team. Like the athletes on the rowing team care so deeply about one another, and it's not uncommon for freshmen and seniors to be close. Like there's no divisions. That was one thing that was really repeated over and over again when I spoke with the athletes when I first got here is we all care about one another. We love one another. Freshmen and seniors are friends. That's not weird, which is amazing. So as a first-time head coach, stepping into that kind of culture is pretty exciting. I think the next evolution of that culture is really leaning into the competitive side of it. And okay, we love one another, and because we love one another, I'm gonna give you a really hard time at practice because I want to make your life difficult at practice so that it's easier on race day, right? Or because I care deeply about you, I am going to call you out when what you're doing is below the line. Because I care deeply about you, I'm not going to let you do anything less than your best because I know that you're capable of more, and it really comes from a place of love. So I think that's the next evolution of this culture of like there's a foundation of family, but leaning into the competitive side of being a family.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You're listening to USC Women's Rowing head coach Kelsie Chaudoin on Trojans Live. Now, Coach, these were blue chip athletes. Okay, they were groomed 5-star, 4-star kind of athletes. You have the same kind of credentials, but rowing's a little bit different in the sense that you didn't come from that background. You became a 4-time ACC champion in your career. How do you tell your story a little bit as a student athlete, and then how you sort of impart that upon your student athletes now as a coach?
Yeah, man, if you asked my college coach about my first few years of rowing, he would just laugh and be like, oh gosh, she was so bad, like just so bad. But she kept coming back. I'm tall, obviously. So I think that was kind of my in, and it was just like showing up and working hard every day. And that's a thing that rowing really rewards is it's not hard. It's not an easy path forward. It's not a glamorous sport, but if you just keep showing up and working hard, usually the results come. So I think, starting at the bottom and working my way up, by the time I graduated, like I've been through the grind, so when athletes are like, this is hard, it's like, yeah, I know, like I did it too. We've all been through it in different ways, but it's just rowing just rewards like hard work and tenacity and sticking with it and the grind. And so having been through it, it's like, yeah, I get it. I know what it's like to be the worst on the team. And my college coach can account for that for like my first 3 years on the team, basically. So, yeah.
When you're on a football field, your coach is close to you and he's, yelling at you or screaming at you, trying to get information to you during practice. And you probably have some distance between your players or after they're done. How does the coaching experience go in rowing as you're out there and you want to get after your players a little bit?
Yeah, on Friday night, my staff was out watching volleyball play Ohio State and just watching them, call where to serve. I'm a former volleyball player here. Call where to serve and just call the plays and be coaching as they're going. I'm like, oh my gosh, this would stress me out so much. Because when they, at practice, there's a lot of that, right? There's a lot of intensity and bringing it and in their faces and saying, I want you to do this. I need you to do this, whatever. But once they race, when they launch to race, you're done. So it can be nerve-wracking in some ways, but it's like your work is done. And it's just like, get the work done. Do everything that you can in the same way that you would ask your athletes to. Do everything that you can every day at practice, and that when they launch for their race, you know that you've left no stone unturned and they're ready to go and they're prepared.
Coach, what are some of the biggest challenges when you take over as a head coach at the new program, and how do you handle those challenges early on?
That's a great question. I think that some of the biggest challenges are coming into a whole new team. It's like, what makes these athletes tick, right? Because I'm a big believer that what makes one athlete tick isn't what makes another athlete tick. So it's like, okay, is this a kid who I can be really intense with, or is this a kid that I need to take a softer approach with? So that you're like building those relationships, especially on a roster of 50. I would say that's one thing. And then for me, one thing that weighed really heavily on me as a first-time head coach was hiring my first staff. It just feels like a really heavy decision because you're bringing these people in. And man, I love my staff, like Allison Foster, Jake Power, and Larkin Brown. And we have an intern, Isaac Connolly, who's working with us. And they've just been amazing and so supportive and bringing energy. So I would say getting to know the athletes and then hiring the staff as a first-time head coach, those were like the two biggest hurdles. But we're getting there, getting to know the athletes, and my staff has been amazing.
Is there an ideal body type for rowing? If you were to decide between these two here, would you like the big and burly athlete, or are we looking for lean and long?
I think I'd go with a quarterback.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
There it is. Why? Can we get a quick answer as to why? No, don't apologize.
Don't be sorry. Don't be sorry.
Okay, I can
love
totally.
You don't see these wings back here, Coach?
Okay, I can. Okay, the reason is, I think that rowing requires a little more finesse, and it just requires a little more finesse.
You're right
instead
there,
of
because I
power.
have no finesse in my game.
And having
long sleeve for you though. I could take Sean on.
And there, I coached high school boys, and the soccer players, the baseball players, they just adapted a little bit better than I don't know what position you played, but then like
you
the
could guess
linebacker,
though.
then the bigger, stronger guys who looked like they were always like bracing to be hit, like you just have to be a little bit more relaxed and finesse.
We're trying to row the boat, not sink the boat, Sean.
Yeah, you guys can come out and row sometime.
Sean had that, or Jordan had that one.
What's the shortest event? Because I think that's my event. I'm just real.
You're a sprinter?
Yeah.
The next event is the Head of the Charles in Boston. That's coming up on October 21. The women of Troy will also take on Stanford soon, early on in the season, the Port of Los Angeles. So go to usctrojans.com and you can get the full rowing schedule. Thank you so much to Coach Kelsie Chaudoin. Welcome to the Trojan family. Our football roundtable is next on Trojans Live.
I used to toss a coin in the waterfall, send a wishing well. Now I get plenty coin, but I'm self-made. You ain't gotta wish me well. You ain't like me then, but I guess it's past tense, cause you tapped in. You was never who you said. I see the facade when looking at really me like you could tell. My guard up, I ain't taking nails. If it's not in my favor, won't sign a deal. I got the royalty in the mail. I got authority in the field. Take a look in my iris. I be precise with the timing. I never know where my mind went.
presented by Pechanga Resort Casino.
And this is Trojans Live.
It's a touchdown, USC.
Recapping everything from Saturday's huge win at the Coliseum, the Big Ten home opener, and the Trojans took care of those Badgers.
Moss to throw. End zone. Lane. Got it. Touchdown, USC. Just what Jordan Moore ordered earlier. If you're going to throw big to the big man, to Lane, because he can go up there. He didn't even have to jump much. Just tippy-toed and made the catch.
We recap it and get you set for USC Minnesota on Saturday tonight on Trojans Live. Now back to the campus of USC at Heritage Hall, broadcasting in Los Angeles. Here are your hosts, Jordan Moore, Sean Cody, and Cody Kessler.
Ready to take it to the next level? Unleash the beast this college tailgate season with Monster Energy. Tear into a can of the meanest energy drink on the planet. Monster Energy. Unleash the beast. Time for our football roundtable. We are joined by our insider, Keely Yor, Jordan Moore, Sean Cody Kessler. How worried were we at halftime on Saturday?
Probably more than I'd like to admit. It was bad vibes is the most pedantic way I can put it. It just didn't seem great, but I should have known that this team has been pretty good at second half adjustments. It just felt like everything was not going their way, and it was really interesting just seeing how quickly it can shift in the second half. And I mean, that's college football. We talked about it in the preview game, the recap podcast, Cody, but it really was USC making those second half adjustments and kind of collecting themselves at half.
What did you see in terms of second half adjustments?
Yeah, I mean, schematically, I didn't see too much. I'm talking defensively here. I didn't see too much from a scheme standpoint because we were still very aggressive in the second half, and I love that. And that's why I asked Coach Riley that question is we gave up a home run there on the first drive, and that was tough. That was a double move on a cover zero look, right? And we ended up having a whole defender. So you have Jacoby Covington by himself on an island, and that's tough to cover a double move there. You're expecting the pass rush to get home, but throughout the rest of the game, our game plan was to get after this quarterback, force him to beat us with his arm, and we did a good job on offense of getting a lead, right? And I think when we started playing from a lead, we can see how much better this defense can be and how much more aggressive they can be when they play into our style of football. But yeah, I mean, at halftime, I wasn't too concerned. And the biggest thing for that on offense was because we were moving the football and we were playing well and we were making some big-time plays. It was just the turnovers, right? If we eliminate those turnovers, we still had over 260 yards of offense in the first half, and we got that done, and then we saw the turnaround, very quickly.
I just thought you were going to see a little more of a pissed-off team after that Michigan game. Also, a very tough game against Michigan, so maybe you're a little bit worn out from that. But yeah, just like I talked about in the broadcast a little bit, just the dotting the I's and crossing the T's on the little things. A couple of drop balls on third downs, or pre-snap penalties, like those kind of things are. It just feels like a little, but it's a lot when it's not working right. And then the kind of the energy in the Coliseum was changed by those little plays. It kind of felt that you lost the crowd momentum, you lost that energy in there, and the fans had to wait for something big to happen before you regain that momentum, I think. And that's big in these home games in college when you get the fans behind you.
Tomorrow, it's October already, which is crazy. People like to ask about identity. You guys see a team identity emerging through the first month of the season? What would you say as the primary characteristic of this team?
It's funny because we talked about this on the podcast. I think they're still searching for their offensive identity, but I think the character of this team is and I know you talked about it with Mason Cobb, but he said after the game, we might not get it right to start the game, but we're going to keep swinging until the final whistle. And I feel like that's kind of what we've seen from this team. And it's kind of unique to teams we've seen in the past from USC. I think that's something where, like we talked about after the Michigan game, the fact that they had a lead in the fourth quarter was something that we probably couldn't have seen from other teams before. So I think it's a belief and a character that trusts each other, but it's definitely I feel like they're still trying to figure it out on offense.
Yeah, I agree. Offensively, I think we're still trying to figure out what we do best. And a big part of that is still having a little bit of struggles with the offensive line, right, and protecting Miller, getting the run game going. But overall, for me, and like Keely said, I think the biggest thing for us is we have a great culture in place. We have a lot of great leaders on this football team. We've had 2 games back-to-back, and we should have won against Michigan to where we had great halftime adjustments and came out and we're a different team. But my biggest thing is we can't make a living doing that, right? We have to be able to put all 4 quarters together. The storyline of this season can't be slow starts and then we dominate in the second half, because when you play those better opponents like Michigan, like Penn State coming up, like Notre Dame down the season, and you don't get those fixed early and you start yourself off with a 14-point, or in a 14-point hole, it's tough to overcome those, especially on the road when you play some of these better opponents.
I think it's a team that's going to just fight you to the end. And I played on some of these kind of teams where you kind of feel like, and I don't know if this team's quite there yet. We're in the fourth game of the year, so they have, they've shown two examples of it. But I've been on teams where we always just felt the confidence that no matter what the score was, first, second, third quarter, in the fourth quarter, we felt like if we were close, we were going to win the game because we knew how to win football games. If it was offensively or defensively or special teams, we knew we had what it takes, and we would challenge that other team because they knew they couldn't be as good as us in the fourth quarter. And that was the confidence that came from us. It didn't matter what the score was until the end there, because we knew we could do that. And I think that can build as it goes on. Now you have more games like this. I think a team learns that and it can start feeling like that. Hey, it's second half. We know what we can do. Let's do it. So I think they're building upon that.
You mentioned the offense, maybe is growing into its identity. And I think part of that is sort of figuring out who the go-to guys are, who the top line playmakers are. And you brought this up, I think, with Coach Sean, but Jacoby Lane, to me, from day one, has looked like the part. And I thought we just saw it on Saturday. He made a ton of impressive plays. I think Coach talked about the one over the middle where he takes the big shot. There was a 3rd and 15 though, where he made a sideline catch where it just seemed like an incompletion waiting to happen, and that extends a drive and ultimately gets another touchdown. You start, again, looking at the body type, looking at some of these plays, and he triggers to me memories of the guys we've had here in the last 10 to 15 years.
And it was about 5 or 6 plays, Jordan. It was took a big shot. That sideline plays, the touchdown that falls in the basket right there, the other touchdown. I mean, there was about 4 or 5 plays, and then he got the crowd going too. The energy he gets up with. He's kind of the emotional leader offensively so far. Some of the guys kind of quiet, reserved. Deuce, the big guy, but not really that emotional guy. But you need that emotional guy. Like, he gets up, first down, you can't stop me. I got my head knocked off, but I'm still coming. Like, that kind of guy they need on offense, because I think they're searching for that emotional leader, and the crowd really fed off him.
Yeah, and I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I truly believe, and I know he's not there yet, but he can get there. But I truly believe, and I said it this offseason, that Jacoby Lane and Deuce Robinson's a close second, but Lane has that opportunity to be that next great USC wide receiver. And like you said, all the intangibles are there. You just got to be consistent and continue to produce.
All right, he's going to be the subject of our over-under. That's coming next to Wrap Trojans Live.
It's time to recharge, reconnect, and
I used to toss a coin in the waterfalls, in the wishing well. Now I get plenty coin, but I'm self-made. You ain't gotta wish me well. You ain't like me then, but I guess it's past tense, cause you tapped in. You was never who you said. I see the facade when looking at really me, like you can tell. My guard up, I ain't taking nails. If it's not in my favor, won't sign a deal. I got the royalty in the mail. I got authority in the field. Take a look in my iris. I be precise with the timing. I never know where my mind went.
We're back with Trojans Live.
This is the ESPN
How long is the second?
LA USC Trojan
3
Media Network.
2 seconds.
Presented by Pechanga Resort Casino.
Now back to the campus of USC and Heritage Hall, broadcasting in Los Angeles. Here are your hosts, Jordan Moore, Sean Cody, and Cody Kessler.
One final segment of Trojans Live on a Monday evening. We're in the basement here of Heritage Hall. Getting you set for US.
It's a hot basement.
musty basement. Little locker room vibes down here. Getting you set for USC versus Minnesota. Our over-under is presented by Pechanga Resort Casino, proud partner of USC Athletics. I mentioned it would be about Jacoby Lane. He has 4 receiving touchdowns already. That's half of the team total of receiving touchdowns. Over under 9.5 touchdown catches for Jacoby. A little context, Brendan Rice led the team last year with 12. But it really hasn't double digits is a little more rare than I thought. Michael Pittman had 11 in 2019. Juju had 10 in 2016. So, sort of like every 3 years somebody's hitting a mark like that here.
I got over. I think I'm seeing this with his game right now. I'm seeing this with him and Miller Moss. I feel pretty good about that connection right now. I think he's going to be the target guy moving forward, and I just think he's going to put those numbers up.
Yeah, I'm going over as well. I think he absolutely can go 10+. And my only concern with that is if teams start to key on him a little bit more, right, start cloud coverage him. But you have Zachariah Branch, you have Deuce Robinson, you have other guys that are playmakers. Hopefully we get Mekhi Lemon back soon. And then you have some tight ends starting to emerge a little bit, and we saw Kyle Ford at tight end. So it's tough. If you want to take away Jacoby, we have other guys that can make plays, but I still think no matter what you do, he's going to have 10+.
I'm taking the over, and I'm also saying check the tape because producer G and I were singing Jacoby's praises in fall camp of last year. So I'm just saying we were on it.
Is it on tape?
I said it.
Producer Gia doesn't.
She's not even here, but I'm repping her.
I love how you call her producer Gia.
I know it's not on tape because producer Gia would never allow herself to be recorded.
Fair, but we're a unit.
Okay, but you
and I said it last year.
The sources.
I'll
just
find it.
Trust me.
Yeah, I'll find it. Don't worry.
Weird game on Saturday. I'm interested to see it. This is sort of the random part of the Big Ten schedule, right? You play the Wisconsins, the Penn States, Michigans. People are excited about that. This is sort of that other tier. Interested to see. Kind of lines up as a trap game, but the Trojans have been starting slow. So let's see if they can get out of the gate quickly in Minneapolis and avoid the upset against Minnesota. That's coming up on Saturday. We'll be back with this show on next Monday. Thank you to everyone involved for putting it on. It is a team production here at USC. For Sean, for Cody, for Keely, I'm Jordan. Fight on, everyone.